Craig's in Worcester. Craig, are you thinking of leaving the country? How do you interpret the figures? Good morning.
Morning, Nick. Me and my wife, a bit about our story, we're actively seeking employment in the US to leave because we're just sick and tired of paying too much tax. You know, fuel. I've got a pickup truck at home, and I can't afford to fuel it half the time. And it's just
what job do you do?
It's a complete mess. I'm working construction.
And is your wife in work?
Wife's in work. Well, she's got her own business.
What appeals to you about going to the US, Craig?
The taxes are a lot less. The fuel you're paying, I don't know what you think, it's $2.70 a gallon or something like that, where we're paying £1.50 a litre.
Right.
Buying property, Nick, buying property out, it's not half the price. It's more than half the price.
Which bit of the?
I've got a good job in the UK, and it's just making it so hard under this Labour government and the Tory government.
What sort of age bracket are you in? 25 to 35, 35 to 45?
I'm 30. My wife's 27.
And do you have any children? Do you mind asking? Do you have any children?
Yeah, I've got she's 2. Yeah, she's just come up to 2.
Sure,
2-year-old little girl.
And what do your folks? What do the in-laws say when you say, "Look, we think we might head off to the US"?
Say again, sorry, Nick.
What do your folks say, or the in-laws say, when you mention that you might be going off to the United States?
Mum and Dad are just saying you need to go.
I emigrated from South Africa in '99. I grew up in the 80s and the worst periods of apartheid, and saw that country almost descend into civil war. It was horrific, obviously well documented. We all know the backstory, and I left simply because of the division and hatred in the country.
Yes.
And here, fast forward 26 years, and I'm in the process of negotiating with my current wife, as I referred to her last time. My wife,
that went down well.
My wife to move to Spain. I'm fortunate in a position I can get a digital nomad visa, so I can bypass all of the EU problems, and go and see out the latter part of my life working over there remotely. 2 reasons. I know what you're going to ask is you're big fan, Mr. Farage.
Yeah.
I will not tolerate living in a country with him as Prime Minister. Simple as, that I'm not going to do it. And then secondly, and that's obviously related to this, is the rise in racism that I've seen in the last 2 years. And as a South African, having lived through this firsthand, I can see all the signs. I know where this is going. I've heard the desperate calls of people phoning into your show and recounting stories that they've received firsthand and how they feel about it. And it moves me to tears. It's insidious. It nearly destroyed South Africa. And if we can't get a grip on it as a nation, it's going to do the same here. And the way that it's being embraced and cheered on by all the wrong people sickens me. I can't. I didn't know I was going to say that.
No,
yeah.
What gives? This is a slightly strange question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What gives you confidence that Spain will be better?
The good question, and that's what I would say to young people. Yeah. The grass is definitely not greener on the other side. There's new challenges. There's new problems. I get that. That's the discussion I have with my wife a lot of the time. I don't think it is at the moment. That may change. But also, one of the options is being in the EU again. Then I have 26 other countries to move to. I was a long time a big fan of the Netherlands. I wanted to go and live in Amsterdam. They've got their own particular set of problems they're dealing with now. I'm absolutely eyes open that I know that nowhere's going to be perfect. And I wouldn't exclude the possibility that I'll come back to the UK when we've hopefully managed to get through this little dark period that we're in.
Belch of nativist fury. I mean, that's a really interesting point. Obviously, I mean, just by a word of caution, there are parts of Spain full of expats where you'll find more Nigel Farage fans than there are in the Kremlin.
Hello, John. You're on the radio. Where are you off to?
I'm off to Switzerland, sir.
Beautiful country. Which bit?
Yes, it is. Glatbrugg, just outside of Zurich.
Oh, okay. You're going to the German part, right?
I am, sir, yes. I'll be gone, fully flagged out come the end of January. I'm taking my 4 trucks. One of my drivers I've been doing it since 2014. Love my country. As one of your texts that you read out earlier on, I'm also a former Royal Marine Commando.
I could tell the way you're speaking. You're ex-military, aren't you? Yeah,
I am, sir. Yeah. And do you know something? I love the UK. I've always had a massive desire to come back to the UK, one of the safest countries in the world. And I look at this Labour government now, and I think they're treasonous. The way they're treating the British people. You've got Keir Starmer running around the world, and his own country's falling apart. But as I turned and said to one of your researchers, because I'm in Swiss quite a lot, you see the TV over there. They speak in subtitles, English subtitles, of course. And do you know what's alarming about it, Nick, is this, and it has been used in the media in the UK also, that we were once a beacon of light in the world, and the Swiss are now turning saying, sir, your light is going out, it is fading.
And why do they say that? What is it that's happening in the United Kingdom that has changed their view in that fashion, would you say, John?
Well, you've got to look at the UK. You can look at history. You can look at Japan, that looks at the UK as one of the most influential countries in the world prior to being part of the Axis in the Second World War. The British Empire, I know people find that as a disdain, but if the British Empire didn't exist, another empire would have existed in its place, and God knows what would have happened if that had ever happened. But you look at the UK, and it is one of the safe havens in the world. But you have a government that has lied to get into power, and it's reneging on absolutely everything. It doesn't like small business. It likes big business. We can't survive without the two of them. But they seem to be, we don't care about your small business. We don't care about the people that you employ. I just find it, the way I look at it now, Nick, I would sooner give my hard-earned money to the Swiss people. And just a quick one, I believe you're part Swiss yourself.
Yes, my late father was from a village near Bellinzona.
There you go, sir.
Ticino.
So what you can do as a Swiss person in Switzerland is you can actually go online and check how they spend their money. So their governments, their coalition government for that matter, is answerable to its electorate. This government don't care.
John, are you in logistics? You mentioned your lorries.
I am, sir. Yes, I'm selling 2 at the moment, and I'm taking 2 over.
So I have to ask, what was the impact of Brexit?
Wow. Well, for me, no change really.
Okay.
Because with Switzerland being outside the EU...
It didn't really affect you. I mean, you still have to drive through France or whichever...
I do, yes. We have to stop at the borders, but I'm on T1s, T2s, maybe a carnet every now and again.
I see.
But it's never been a problem for me, really.
John's in Wimborne. John, what would you like to say?
Hi, James. I think this is going to be one of those calls where you counter all my feelings with some glorious facts.
God forbid, perish the thought.
And I'm probably going to be one of these people who just need to give their head a wobble. But, I mean, I have a young family with a son, and we're seriously considering emigrating to Sweden and taking part of our business over to Sweden. I'm a veteran of Afghanistan and Iraq, and I feel steadily betrayed by each government that comes along. I feel like I swim in a cesspool of... It's a feeling. It is a feeling because my life is extremely good. I own my own house. I own a business. I'm healthy. Life is good, but I don't like the vitriol and I'm really struggling to find the words. I'm a little bit nervous.
Oh, you're doing brilliantly. I mean, think about this for a minute, will you? You've served in Afghanistan and Iraq, and you're nervous talking to me.
That's one of the... Afghanistan... It's the lack of accountability, I think, I'm really struggling with for our political leaders. I don't like being led. I'm really struggling with our leadership. We
haven't got much at the moment.
Well, this is it, and I don't want to be in a leaderless country. I feel politically homeless, which is a phrase that gets used a lot on your programme.
Yeah, no, that's because it's true. It's because it's real. And just if I help you in a bit, if I may, I think what you're describing is the same malaise that many other callers have described, but you've added an extra dimension in that the government that we elected at the last election came to power with many of us believing that it would start pushing back against the vitriol that you're describing and start actually challenging the narratives that so many of us find so disgusting. And they haven't. They simply haven't.
It was last night I watched... I'm more than happy to move to a country that pays more tax. I can, you know, it's not even about money. It's about I watched Beth Rigby interview Rachel Reeves, and the way she sort of swallowed and clenched her teeth and danced around the fact that she has put up taxes for working people, whatever that means.
Sure.
I just want people to be honest, and I'm sick to death of the lack of honesty and accountability. I feel ashamed, James, to have served this country. Our Afghanistan, we just gave it back to the Taliban, where matey boy was on holiday.
And we're now in America. They're now going to just start deporting people who actually fought against the Taliban alongside US troops after this terrible shooting in DC. I don't know what I mean. In many ways, you're the person that I want to persuade, or that I want other callers to persuade to stay, but it's going to be very hard to do, except that political cycles are short. I mean, this is not necessarily the most uplifting thing you're going to hear all day, but I don't personally think that Keir Starmer will lead Labour into the next general election, and although it's an enormous burden to place on anybody's shoulders, and I may change my mind about that, don't forget that the space you and I see is huge. It's empty, but it's still huge. That space to push back, that country we were in, say, 2012. It's a bit of a cliche to talk about the Olympics opening ceremony, but it speaks to a spirit, doesn't it? The kind of spirit that sometimes you may even carry all the way to war.
Yeah, I mean, it's the. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if reform get in. If Nigel Farage becomes the Prime Minister, I will sell up and move. And I'll take my family with me. And that will be the final straw.
And the demographics are inarguable. I mean, the people most likely to do that will be the people who make the biggest contributions to this country, apart from the incredibly rich people that are now dropping money in his collection plate. I think the owner of JCB had Boris Johnson living in his garden not long ago. Other rich people have peacocks, but the owner of JCB had Boris Johnson living in his garden so he could point him out to dinner guests. But it will be people like you. It will be. It won't be old age pensioners who aren't paying much tax who leave the country. It will be people like you who leave the country. Everything will get worse. But everything's got worse at every point where those people have won the argument. It got worse after Brexit. It got worse after austerity. It got worse after Truss. It got worse after Johnson. And yet they're minded to give it another go.
And I can't keep. I feel I can't keep my family on this treadmill of. It's one. It's like you feel like I'm trapped behind a mirror. You're like screaming at the country. Are you actually insane? Like, it's one idiot after another, and people keep buying it, laughing out. I live in a lovely little countryside in Dorset, and everywhere I go, there's these tripping paintings on roundabouts. I'm like,
what is this? What have we become? What have we become?
I don't know, and I don't want to be part of it anymore. I want off.